Well, talking about Saturday, since we'll start there. Again, watching the tape and going back and reviewing it with the coaches and the players, and again, an unbelievable team effort, starting with our players, our staff, to be able to grind out and be resilient and find a way to come away with a victory. It's the essence of team football. It's the greatest team sport ever invented, and I thought we completely won it on defense. We completely won it on special teams, and we did just enough on offense to win the game. So I'm really, really proud of our players. I can't say enough about them. Their character, their will to win, their willingness to be unselfish, the way they play for each other. It's a very common buzzword out there, but in reality and today's day and age, it's not common, and it is in our locker room. It's something that's very, very special, and they're in the middle of a special season, and continue to have our blinders on. And big picture, we know what we're playing for. We've been talking about this since, basically Boise State game. And so I got no problem talking about big picture, but we'll narrow the focus down really, really quick, and be to simply to finish the drill, be 1-0 against Wyoming, and we'll look up Saturday and figure out what we're doing next week. So very proud of our guys for really being in the position to even talk about this. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
What's going on with Richard and Travis, and are there any other injuries going on?
There's no other season-ending injuries, so I'll only talk about season-ending injuries. Sure. We're still in the middle. Today it hadn't, all the MRIs and X-rays and scans and all that stuff from our docs getting back. I still haven't had a chance to speak to our docs as of right now. So, if there's anything to report from a season-ending injury, we'll do that when the opportunity presents itself.
A lot of people just want to know about Richard's.
Rashad's okay. No, it's okay. It's very positive. The scans were back negative Saturday night. It's very positive. So obviously we'll be day to day. I don't know, you guys like those three words. So we'll again, I haven't talked to Trek and our team of docs this afternoon yet. I'll know a little bit more where they're at after they test him and stuff this afternoon.
Well, this is a special game for a bunch of seniors. What can you say about this senior class and what they've meant to the program?
Well, they, every senior class is special in and of its own self. What are they remembered for? Let's go back. Bobby's senior class, Bobby and Turb and those guys, Phil, Naki and Quinn Gardner and all those guys. First senior class to, be in a bowl game since, whenever, since Coach Smith was here, 97. Last year, senior class, first one to win one since when I played in the Vegas Bowl, 93. Winning a senior class last year, well, not so fast anymore. Well, now it's the winning a senior class this year. And so, this one will go down as the senior class of, our staff and, our first year here. So those 22 guys are very, very special to us in that, because you'll always remember your first one. And they're guys that I think have, they're going to be the winningest senior class in school history, which I think is awesome. They'll leave with that. Maybe have it for 12 months, but we'll see. And they'll have it on their senior list of accomplishments. But I think more than anything, you'll look back and you'll remember them as a group and then individually as just the guys that continued to move forward. During the early part of October, and they moved our team forward when times were tough and not so easy with the injuries and adversity and back-to-back losses at home, and oh my goodness, the sky is falling, and all those kind of things that everybody on the outside wanted to bring in, and our guys just refused to listen, and it was led by that class, this class, and so very, very special class. So Saturday's a big day just to send them out the right way at Romney and played very well in front of their family and friends for one more time.
And I know you exchanged some text messages with some SDSU coaches right after your win. How quickly were you to respond back to them after they won?
Well, decently quickly, but they were already on the field for warm-up, so that's all relative. It's, again, that is strictly, it's personal, it's fun, and it's friendly, and it has no bearing on the game, zero. But I did get a couple at 2:30 in the morning, so.
Well, my wife says your wife was saying that your kids went to bed in black and red pajamas for the game.
Al, did you just say that in a press conference?
So you're denying it or not?
Next question.
You look at this team, 7 wins, in position to go to the Mountain West title game. What does it mean to you as a coach to have kind of gotten that continuity going again this year and keep the program on the track where it was right when Gary left?
Well, it means everything to me, but it means everything to our players and our program. This program's not about me. It's not about Gary. It's not about Chucky. It's not about Tyler. It's about Aggie football. And we always say it. I mean, something happens to me this week, they'll kick it off Saturday. They'll be fine. We'll play defense, we'll play offense, and we'll find a way to win. It's not about one individual, but it's a program that it continues to move forward. Kyle, getting to your question, that I think it's important that we continue to reach and strain for the goals that we set out. So when I sit here in the off season and during the season and say this is our goal, this is what we're working for, and you get really close to obtaining that, yeah, it's everything. It's everything in life. It's everything you're striving to do. What do you want to do, Matt? December the 20th. I want to graduate our players and play for a championship. The 25th. It's 11 months later, playing for a championship. It's everything. So, doesn't matter if you're healthy. Doesn't matter if you're hurt. Doesn't matter if there's a new coach. Doesn't matter if there's a new quarterback, new tailback, new wideouts. It doesn't matter. The program moves on. Testament to the next guy up, the assistant coaches, our trainers, our doctors, our strength guys, our academic guys. It's a testament to all of them. So.
I know you have a quote in here, but how fun is it to start stuff like this up with Wyoming, with the Bridger battle?
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, anytime you're playing for a trophy, and in this case, a shotgun. I don't know, I'm from Oklahoma. Is it a shotgun?
Yeah.
So it's traveling rifle.
Traveling rifle. See, we're more sophisticated. I'm from Oklahoma. It'd be a shotgun down there, but just keep the thing away from the Vigil brothers. We'll be all right. Yeah, it's neat. I mean, you're playing for something tangible. I mean, it's the 4th longest rivalry in school history. I think that stuff's neat, it's a prideful thing with your team, and we'll run across there and grab that thing, and it's not going to be loaded, is it? It's something to play for. It's neat. It's a symbolism, of showing, the history of the tradition and being from the West and all that kind of stuff that it will symbolize. So I think that's neat.
You guys are making history, possibly. You're making history right now. I mean, talk about coming this far and the success of your team. I know you completely credit to all of your players. Is it hard to keep that excitement down, though?
Nah, we show it. We celebrate after the game. I mean, we smile and laugh and all that. And again, you've heard coaches say it for so many years, you don't ever celebrate enough after a win, and the losses stay with you longer. That's true. It's really, really true. But we try to celebrate them, and we try to enjoy them because it's hard to win. And so the finality of what you're doing hadn't really hit you yet. But I think you're on a roll, and you're doing things well, but you got to line up and play again this week, and you got a one single-minded focus, and that's Wyoming and their program coming in here, that they're going to be playing for one thing, and that's bowl eligibility. And so we're going to have to put those emotions on the line one more time. So we're just gearing up for that.
What a job for your defense to have to go in against this offense that comes off of 700 and something yards in their game last week.
Well, it's the tale of the season. I mean, we go from somebody throwing it all over the lot to somebody running it to triple option to back. And credit our defense, credit our defensive players, the leaders, our Todd Orlando and our staff. They find a way to step up every week, and they're going to have another huge challenge with Brett and the receivers out on the perimeter, and them playing so many four wides and the things that they do from
they
a
still run
spacing
the ball
standpoint.
well.
They run the ball well. They're very well coached. They play with pace. They got a dual threat quarterback, and here we go again, another big challenge for our defense.
Does Brett remind you a lot of Chucky? And if so, in what ways does he differ?
Well, they're different types of quarterbacks. They have different skill sets. But yeah, here's where he reminds me of Chucky quite a bit. Even though I haven't coached him, you see him on tape. I think he's a very tough-minded individual. I think he's a very disciplined quarterback with his eyes, and then he'll hurt your tail if he's out in space. He pulls it down. You play all that man coverage and you don't account for him. Pull it down and here he goes, and the guy's got enough speed to make you pay for it. So we'll just have to sit back and play zone all day.
What do you think Boise State did well to contain Brett and keep him keep that Wyoming offense in check?
Honestly, I don't know if I'm qualified to completely answer that technically. I have not watched that side of the ball, that game. I've watched a little bit of Wyoming. It's only Monday right now at noon, and just I haven't watched enough of them on offense, Kyle. Seen some cut-ups with Todd and the staff this morning and seen a couple halves here and there, but haven't watched that game yet.
And so then their defense, though, has given up a lot of points, a lot of yards.
Yeah, but they're opportunistic. I think they make plays and they keep themselves in the game. They made a play down at the end of the Hawaii and all that. And, we're going to get their very, very best shot, just like we got Colorado State. And again, you go back to Colorado State game, credit to that staff, that defensive staff at Colorado State. That's the best defensive game they played in a long time. And those guys were ready to play. They were sound. They were schematically sound. They played with energy and they played with effort, and I'm sure Wyoming will too.
And then when you look at individuals, Yarbrough, and then you look at Stanton, you look at Huff, there's probably as good players as anybody in the league that play for Wyoming on defense, right?
Yep. No, they are. And, 1 and 2 are all over the tape. And I think the tackles attest to that and where they're at. Al, and you look at them, and as far as the leaders are for the league and all that, but those guys are all over. They're very athletic. I think they're tough, and it looks like they're fitting in a scheme now. They may have changed some things here a few weeks ago, but those guys are good players.
I know the conditions, the windy conditions, played a big factor in the passing game, but in self-evaluation, is there anything you kind of see as a big area improvement for Darryl and the receivers in that passing game?
No, Kyle, as I go back and we looked at it and I evaluate it and look at it from that standpoint, I would say there's 3 factors, and they were all 3 relative. And I think the winds had a huge part in the conditions of the game. I just flubbed that up. The wind had a big part in affecting the passing game, both teams, as well as the kicking game. Which it did not affect us as much, but it was just swirling. So factor, yes, okay. Number 2, we weren't very efficient, whether it was protection, whether it was route distribution, spacing, whether it was Darryl's eye control, whatever it was, and there were factors on each one, and you can't point it at one group or one individual. And then probably the 3rd factor, honestly, is I kind of realized the first 2, and you get a feel for the game you're in and what exactly your defense is doing. I pulled back the reins a little bit. You put the clamps on that game plan a little bit, and you're like, no, whoa, okay, we're going to be smart and we're going to win us a dadgum football game. So we won one. So I had as much to do it late in the game, 3rd quarter on, and as anything, to be honest with you. And it was probably a mixture of all 3.
That being said, what does it mean to you that, basically toward the end of the game, Colorado State knew you're going to run, and Joey was going to play a huge role in the run game, and they couldn't really seem to stop you guys?
Yeah, just hats off to Joey D. I thought he ran tough. There were times there weren't very big holes there. There weren't very big seams. You learn to make seams as a running back. You learn to kind of will yourself through there sometimes, and it may not be real pretty. And it may not make highlight reels, but it moves the chains and it keeps the clock going, and you did what you're set out to do. So credit to Joey.
Do you see the mental difference in him? He talks about, off season, how he was working harder. I mean, do you see the mental difference?
We've talked about this. I think I think he flipped right in the middle of last year when he really made a huge impact on our special teams in the run down the stretch last year in the WAC championship run and through into the bowl game. I thought that's really where Joey flipped it, and then I think it continued in the off season. And I haven't seen much of one this year, to be honest with you. When he was given his opportunity, he stepped up and he was in the right mental frame. I haven't seen one this year as far as anything negative or major positive. I just saw the flip happen last year, and it continued on an upward trend, I think, this year. And when Joe went down and Joey went to full-time status, he was ready. So.
Anything else for Coach Wallace?
Good.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Basically, Colorado State, hard-fought game. All 4 quarters. We knew it was going to be like that coming in for preparation. These guys had something to play for. Just the whole game. It was really hard fought in the front 7, I would say, for each side of the ball on each team. Just a tough game in the trenches. It was good to pull out this type of victory for our team.
Previewing this Wyoming game?
See anything about them yet?
I've not started to watch film on them yet, but I know they're trying to be bowl eligible, so I obviously know they're going to come in fighting hard, just like they should be coming in. So, yeah, I'm going to start watching film on them today, so I really don't have much to say on them right now.
Well, sorry, didn't mean to cut
Oh, no,
you
you're
off.
good.
Well, being from San Diego, you must have been really excited to see the Aztecs on Saturday night.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the game. Because last time I watched them play Fresno, and I was hoping they beat Fresno. When it came down to that field goal, they ended up losing. So I told myself I'm just going to go to sleep on Saturday and just wait for some text messages in the morning. And luckily, right when I woke up on Sunday, I had a bunch of texts from people saying, "You guys have a berth. You guys can do it now." So that was a good feeling to wake up to on Sunday.
Do you have any friends on San Diego State that you keep in contact with?
I'm kind of old now. I had friends on San Diego State, yeah, but now I think I need to hurry up and get out of college now.
You're less than 100 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing. I know you were saying the other day that it's a lot on your offensive line, but is there any kind of personal reflection on what that means and just kind of what it means to get in 4 digits?
Yeah, besides the whole having a line to run, I mean, just the tradition at Utah State with running backs and stuff with Robert Turbin, Mike Smith, and Kerwin Williams coming before. It's just kind of a big deal. Once you come in, they kind of based it in our head that we're supposed to be the main component on offense and stuff. So, yeah, getting 1,000 just to be in the club with them is a big deal for me. So
I've kind of asked you the question before, but it really comes back again to that you're in this position, but there's not many people who would have thought a year ago at this time you'd be in this position to be the guy to do that this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, football's a roller coaster, and I'm in the position now, and you got to step up when you have an opportunity to do it. So, yeah, I'm in the position right now, and I'm trying to take full advantage of it.
When Joe Hill went down, how much did that change your mindset about how you approached the rest of the season?
It really didn't change my mindset how I approached the game because, I mean, if anything were to happen to anybody on any position, we would expect the next man up to go. And I mean, really the mindset change, the little change I had was basically, I mean, I got to step up and maybe take on a little bigger role, but I felt as the season went through that if I tried to do that, I felt I wasn't as effective. And when I went back to just playing simple and just taking advantage of the opportunities I get, I felt I'd been more effective running the ball. But I didn't want to put more on my plate. That's basically it. I didn't want to put more on my plate right there.
Have you thought about your final game in Romney on Saturday and what this will mean to you?
Nah, I haven't really given much thought, but I know it's gonna be emotional. I mean, it's been a hard working 4 years here, and it's just good to go out as a senior playing a lot and helping contribute to this great season we have ahead of us still. So, I mean, I know it's going to be pretty emotional for a lot of the guys on the team and stuff that have been here grinding away for years.
Well, the senior class, I mean, they're going to go as the winningest class in school history. I mean, what do you feel like these guys have done to get to that point and maybe even build up for the future, for future more winning classes?
Really, these guys, this group of guys I'm with right now is they're pretty amazing. As a group of guys, they're hardworking, like their work ethic and stuff. It rubbed off on me when I first got here, because I can admit I wasn't the hardest worker. But once you see them and you see them sacrifice stuff to help the team every day, like you just become a part of it. And I feel that when we leave it for the younger guys, they know how much we've sacrificed. I mean, they see the new buildings and stuff that us in previous classes have helped get to this school, like the new weight room and stuff. And I think we set a good little precedent for them to keep going, and keep fighting and working hard, and just what this program is about, being blue-collared athletes.
You guys this season kind of beat the odds. A lot of people were not necessarily rooting against you, but saying, okay, well, you've got a new head coach. You lost your starting quarterback. You guys have completely beat all of the odds, and now you have a chance to go to the championship game. Obviously, not looking that far forward, but what does that mean to you and your team?
I mean, it's just a reflection of all our guys, really, just how we are. Like, if somebody goes down, like, yes, it hurts. You never want to see somebody go down on a team, but we know the next man up is just as capable of doing the same job or better than the man that went down. So, I mean, I think it just speaks. It's just a reflection of our program, really. That's all it is, and how we're on the rise, and we're going to continue to rise after this class is gone.
I know you're close to a lot of the guys, Joe Hill and DJ. And, what motivation do you take out of maybe those guys not being able to play on the field and you being one of the people who can play for them?
It's a lot of motivation. I mean, you could just see it in their eyes before the game how bad they want to be out there and contribute with the team. I mean, you're talking about guys that put in some of the most work on the team, that are just at the building all day, really. I mean, and for me, it's DJ too, because I worked out all summer with him, so he kind of showed me the mindset and how to have a good work ethic. So just to see him not being able to play, I know how bad it kills him. Like, I already know, like, you don't really have to say much. He would be out there if he could do it. I mean, he played on a broken foot for a few games anyway. So, I mean, that says enough. And then Joe Hill is he's a quiet guy, but you know how much he cares.
Do you get stronger as the game goes along with your explosion? It seems like that never ends.
I feel like me and the offensive line get a little momentum going as the game goes on, and we know we're wearing down an opponent. Like, you could start feeling the push a little bit more up front. And yeah, I think I get stronger as the game goes on. And I think that comes from the O-line out-physicaling teams, and they're just picking me up every play, like, let's go, let's do it again right after that. So I would say, yeah, I get stronger during the game.
All right, so I mean, the highlight of the day was pretty much the wind. The specialists going into the game knew, we based on Thursday and Friday's weather, it was really windy, so that pressure front down in southern Utah was keeping the wind up in northern Utah, so we knew we were going to have to deal with that. And all week the coaches put us in a good spot, practicing different situations for the wind, and I think that our readiness and the level that we were prepared at showed on Saturday with most of us didn't skip a beat. It was almost like there was no wind out there. So another big thing about the day was it was a defensive battle. So field position showed a big factor, and the punt team it was good to be a part of that to contribute a bigger than normal factor probably in the game than is usual. And just really proud of the defense too, also in general, because they obviously kept that shutout, and that's pretty much it.
Can't believe a kicker's talking how good, how excited the wind was a factor in the game. You seem to be excited about that. Normally, a kicker goes crazy, doesn't he? That's
Yeah,
the one thing he doesn't want to see.
I've actually never kicked in a windy game like that before in my whole career, high school and college. So it was interesting, and go into it, with an open mind, because you have to understand that the other team has to deal with it too. So any bad misstep, you just have to move on if it happens, and just approach it, calmly, I guess.
Did you feel, was there an advantage kicking north to south, or was advantage south to east? Was there an advantage?
I think at different times in the game there was, but I mean, before each kick was when you were like, okay, this is how the wind is going to be, instead of each quarter or which direction. Kind of look up at the flags, because inside the stadium it was swirling, so it was too hard to tell, on your indication. But once the ball gets out of the stadium, you could tell, if it was going to go left, right, or into your face or not. And most of the day, I think above the stadium it was a crosswind, and a little bit towards the north. But I mean, it was swirling, so it was too hard to tell.
So the warm-ups and everything didn't give you much of a read, or did?
Not really at all. Actually, I was struggling in warm-ups on hang 10 scenarios, which is what we were in most of the day, especially into that north end zone, because the wind was blowing down our locker room, which was kind of like the opposite of what the flags were showing. And so, punting into that corner was everything was blowing right back at me, so I was having a hard time judging, but ended up working out fortunately, so that was nice.
This coverage unit has been one of the best in the nation. I'm not sure what the ranking
Is the best.
this week. Is
No,
the best.
number one.
So it is number one. I mean, what do you feel like, especially Coach Unger and these guys on the return unit have, or the coverage unit have been doing to really get there?
They're getting off their blocks, and they're getting down there fast, obviously, to have that stat. I mean, that's really a praise on the players mostly. And we have a new scheme in this year for our punting, which I think keeps the punt return teams on their toes. So credit to Coach Unger for that. And overall, it's a team effort, really. As even when they do get returns, my job is to punt a fair catch ball. Obviously, that's over 40 yards. And when they aren't fair catching it, we're obviously tackling them right away. So,
What can you say about this year's senior class? What have you learned from these?
we've really been able to lean on them, and they've shown that they've been through so much that when they first got here it was 4-8 2 in a row or something like that, and when I first got here it was just 4-8 one season, and then back onto winning more than we lose, obviously. They know what it's like to be in the highs and lows, and so they we kind of lean on their shoulder and ride it to every win that we can get, and just have that mental aspect that winning is what we're coming to expect nowadays.
Have you noticed since you ran your run against New Mexico, the other teams kept somebody around all the time to kind of watch you now?
Yeah, they do. Some of the Colorado State players were pointing me out like some of their safe scenarios, and I was like, come on, I'm just a punter, man. Like I'm not that big of a threat. But yeah, I mean, teams before New Mexico were too, because most rollout teams have that read option on the read or kick on the rugby rollout. That was just a fortunate event that I
You're
was
going
able
to
to keep
forever
it
be
in.
grateful somebody blew their assignment, aren't you?
I guess that's how it works. I can take those as they come, even if it's one and forever. So
It's better than a lot of guys will ever get.
yeah, that's it. Okay.
Going into Wyoming, is it hard at all to kind of keep that excitement reined in about going to the Mountain West Championship game and just focusing on the game ahead?
These past few weeks, we've kind of stuck our head down and just been playing one game at a time, and kind of picked our head up for a moment watching the Boise-San Diego game, and realized we're back in the thick of it. So I think we can keep the same mentality that we've had the past few weeks, that every team is a good team in the Mountain West, and we're going to have to give our best effort every time. And then it shows past few weeks we've had, when we haven't played so well, games have been close, and so we just have to play our best and prepare really well, and I believe that we can do that.
Where were you to watch that game? And I'm assuming, unlike Jake, you didn't fall asleep in the fourth quarter? Or?
No, I was wide awake watching that game. I was at a buddy's house, and when San Diego threw that touchdown, everyone erupted. It was actually pretty cool. It's almost like San Diego was wearing Aggie blue or something like that. And you know, it was a fun moment, and you know, gave us a chance to, you know, get another game, and also, and more importantly, a chance to do what we came here for and win a championship. So.
Anything else for Jaron? Okay.
Thanks.
So far as Colorado State's concerned, I felt like the defense played extremely well. Physical, corners and the DBs all around, they covered great. I mean, you know, one of our big goals was to hold Bibbs to, you know, very few yards, and because of what he did the 2 weeks before, and you know, he came out of there with rushing something like 50 yards. So, you know, it ended up well, and thought everyone played great, tough, physical football. So, and then Wyoming, we got our hands full. Great team. You know, their offense looks good. They're about 50-50 run and pass. They do both well. You know, a big part of this game is just stopping the run, and that's, you know, we'll go from there.
How fun was it to have a shutout finally and things?
It was extremely fun, to be honest. You know, I was hoping we'd get one a little earlier against Weber, but you know, it's nice that it finally happened. I mean, was it the first time in 10 years or something? So that's definitely cool. It's, you know, it's something else. It, you know, it just shows the defense, you know, coming together and really everyone playing together, unified, and you know, we all had the same goal to shut them out, and you know, it paid off for us.
Your plan obviously to stop Bibbs. Then they have a plan that, you know, they started to kind of go away from him and use some other people. Then they brought him back in. Could you see them ever trying to do something different from what they started to do at the start of the game to try to get him loose in the game?
It seemed like they started off wanting him to run the ball quite a bit. I mean, the first few drives they gave him the ball, and I mean, it didn't seem like they were, you know, real lucrative with it. And then, you know, they kind of turned away from the run, it seemed like, and started going a little more passing. But you know, whenever there's those windy games, it's hard to throw the ball in those circumstances. So, you know, luckily for us, it wasn't real great for them. So, yeah.
Did you get a chance to see the Boise State San Diego State game? Where were you, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I did see it. Actually, I fell asleep like the fourth quarter, so I didn't really know what happened until the next morning. But to start off, I was hanging out with my parents in their hotel room, and yeah, we were watching it, and you know, up until then it was a good game. You know, it was going either way. Both teams were making plays, and then you know, they called me the next morning saying, "Hey, San Diego won." And I was like, "Really?" In overtime. So yeah, I missed an exciting game, especially the end of it.
How does it feel to know that if you win this game, you can still be on the road to achieving your goal and winning a Mountain West tournament?
It feels good. It's like we have all the cards back in our hands. You know, before we kind of had to wait for something to happen, for, you know, Boise to get knocked off. Now, you know, it's our future's ours again. So, you know, we just need to make plays and get stuff going. So.
What do you see in this Wyoming quarterback, and would you compare him to anybody else you played this season?
He's a good quarterback. He throws the ball well, comparable to anyone else. I mean, every quarterback, you know, is unique in their own way. What he does seems to do pretty well is he moves pretty good. He can run. He's our second leading rusher. So, I mean, you know, you really got to contain him. You know, if you're rushing, you got to make sure the contain box is up, and just make sure everyone's doing their job. Make sure he doesn't get out. So that's going to be a big key for us.
Do you think the experience of practicing against a quarterback like Chucky is going to be able to help you in kind of just getting back to defending a quarterback who can run?
Yeah. I mean, Chucky's he's as agile as it becomes. He's a great runner. I mean, you have to pretty much just assume he's going to always run the ball. If you don't, he's going to embarrass you and do that. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you can play a running quarterback, you know, it's always nice to be practicing against one. So.
Do you remember playing against Smith 2 years ago? You remember him playing against you?
I don't.
You don't
to be
really remember that
honest.
much?
No.
You remember they were up 12-0 in that game? Like
Yeah,
real fast?
I remember we did go behind and came back. So
Big play.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully the game goes well for us and we don't have to start down this time.
Would his style be at all like Hill's at BYU?
Sorry, what was
Would
it?
his style be at all like Hill's?
Yeah. Hill runs extremely well. He didn't seem to run as much against us. He really kind of aired it out there. But yeah, I'm expecting Wyoming's quarterback to run quite a bit.
You guys have been gashed a little bit by good throwing quarterbacks and some athletic receivers. What is the linebackers' contribution that they have to make to making sure that pass defense locks down a little better in this game?
If it depends. If we're dropping in coverage, you're gonna have to show color underneath wide receivers. Get depth. Linebacker, it's kind of hard to get the amount of depth you need. A lot of people kind of play right at like 5, 6, 7 yards. When the play goes on, you kind of have to drop for more depth, taking into account that they're having more time to get out. As far as blitzing is concerned, we do it kind of 50-50. We need to have moves, make sure our moves are crisp and contain box is a big thing. Make sure he doesn't get out and kind of just hold our wall.
Were you thinking about last game in Romney Stadium? Are you thinking of anything about that, or don't want to, or what?
I'm trying not to. It's kind of sad, to be honest, but it's been a good adventure so far, and hopefully you just end it the right way.
What can you say about the senior class as a whole? You're going to go out as the winningest in program history. So.
Senior class, I would say, is hardworking, talented. We've really come together. It's like a brotherhood almost. It's everyone on the team. We all respect each other. We all love each other, and you could just, when times get tough, close games, you just kind of look to your brother beside you and say, hey, this is our game. Let's come together and let's make a play and get this win. So it's kind of just the mentality of the senior class. I feel like has really been great all year.
Is it that brotherhood, that sense of camaraderie that helps you overcome the adverse situations with, for example, all the injuries that keep piling up?
Yeah. It is that brotherhood that it's stuff happens and we gotta step up. But as far as that's concerned, we've had some young guys that have stepped up too. And they're coming in their own, and as older classmen, we have to kind of bring them along with us and make sure they're ready to play every week. And even they might be a little worried, a little nervous, you gotta make sure they're relaxed, they know what they're doing, and they got the confidence to perform. A lot of them have performed great, so it's helped us out a lot.
You're part of a group that's never had this kind of feeling for Utah State football in a long time. What can you tell the guys that are going to follow, that are on the roster right now in the future? What are you going to do? You just do it mostly with your actions more than how you guys do get things done?
Yeah, it's I'd say we are a more action-oriented team. The younger guys see the upperclassmen, working our butts off and kind of putting the sweat and tears into everything. We're trying as hard as we can at everything we do, whether it's academics, on the field, off the field. We're trying to be good people all the way around, and I feel it's kind of showing them the way that Utah State is, and they realize that if they want to succeed, they're gonna have to work their tails off, and they're gonna have to expect more from themselves, expect more from those around them, and that's kind of I feel like we're leading them on.